Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Beyond Light Season of the Lost intel. And in this video, I'm going to be taking you through this week's Grandmaster Nightfall, which is the Proving Grounds strike. I really dislike this strike. I think there's many reasons to dislike it. If you, in particular, like doing Proving Grounds, then please leave me the reason why in the comments section down below. But as always, of course, I will be sharing with you all glitches and cheeses associated with this particular strike, which is very, very long. Full disclosure, some of these definitely I can confirm work. Others I have not been able to playtest as much as I would like. They did work in previous seasons. There's also some that did work in previous seasons that I can confirm no longer work. Beyond the things that you can do in the strike itself, one weapon that I may consider bringing with me when I actually attempt this, and you might want to as well, is the Skyburners Oath exotic scout rifle. This is an exotic that gets very little attention, as it probably shouldn't, but in the Proving Grounds, where you're fighting mostly Cabal, where this weapon actually does more damage to Cabal, you can use it to pierce through all of the Cabal shields. This is the shield that you might fight against in the very beginning of the strike, as well as when you fight the boss. The big dome shield that the mini bosses as well as the final boss will bring out so that they can essentially do damage to you without you being able to do damage to them until you actually run into the shield and destroy the actuator in the center. This is where the ads really become a pain, so if you can stay at any distance and actually destroy the shield, that'll be a big benefit. You can do this in the beginning of the strike if you want to playtest this yourself. And I do find that this opening section is actually a place where a lot of groups fall apart, simply because this can take quite a while, at least as long as any other particular section of this strike, and it can be a little bit demoralizing if you just can't get through it quickly. Those Cabal shields are a real annoyance. So the Skyburners Oath will definitely penetrate through that shield and allow you to destroy it from a distance. An interesting thing about that, though, is when you actually shoot at the actuator in the middle, you might not actually notice any damage being done to it. That's because there is a glitch where sometimes you will get a damage readout, so you'll see a number as you do a critical strike on it. Other times you won't see anything. It doesn't matter. You will be doing damage to it so long as you're shooting at it with the Skyburners Oath. So just keep that in mind. Even if you're not seeing any damage readout, just keep shooting at it. It will be destroyed eventually. Now, the next glitch that I want to share with you is one that I can definitely confirm still works, and is probably going to be the biggest benefit to not only groups, but solo players as well. And it is for the tank room. This is where you fight the 2 Goliath tanks. Probably the most difficult room in the entire strike. A lot of people like to bring Titans with Ursa Furiosa and just sort of relay one to the other. But if you are a solo player and you're not doing that, or if you actually just want a much quicker way to actually defeat the tanks, I would suggest trying this method. Now, unfortunately, there was a glitch previous to this season where you could actually park one of the skiffs that you see here in front of the doors where the Goliath tanks enter the room, and would actually stop the Goliath tank from actually entering. So you could actually block them off and take out the ads first before you actually start doing damage to the tanks. However, this doesn't work anymore. The tanks will just roll right over the skiffs. But there was another glitch that allowed you to essentially slam the skiff right into the tank and instantly destroy it. that still works. So if you have any left over, I would suggest saving them as much as you can. There's 3, I believe, at the onset of this particular zone. Before you actually destroy them, try to get the enemies off them first. I've been calling them skiffs, but they're really called interceptors. Just in my Star Wars headspace right now. But in any case, drive the interceptor, charge it right at the tank, like you see me doing here, and it will instantly destroy it. That's if you have a little bit of health taken off of the tank. It does about 95% of the damage on its own. You might notice if you slam into a tank, it'll have a sliver of health left. That's okay, it's still functioning normally, the glitch is still working. You can then get off the interceptor and take out the Goliath tank just by shooting at it if you'd like. The trick is that you want to be able to slam the interceptor into the Goliath tank and then dismount quickly, because otherwise it's going to cost you a life if you're doing this at Grandmaster. If you're doing it solo, that's a complete reset. So make sure that you're fast on the timing. Once you slam the interceptor into the Goliath tank, jump off as quick as you can and run. But it's a very easy way, if you're doing this in a group, to take out one. Even if you die, most people will have a couple of revives left at this point. But you can basically jump through this room a lot quicker, focus on the ads rather than the tanks. Now this next glitch I want to share with you, I cannot confirm still works. Some of the gameplay you're going to see was from a previous season. But this is essentially a way to glitch out of the boss room. Now there used to be a way where you could jump up on a couple of the different platforms available in the boss room and actually get outside of the map, sort of up top over where the boss is. This allowed you to take a good bit of less damage. At least you'd get a lot less aggro. You could still die up on top of the map, but there were places where you could get sort of out of sight of the boss. So it allowed at least 2 players, sometimes 3, to be able to just focus on boss damage, not worry about the ads, and if you had the Skyburners Oath, you didn't have to jump down to the bottom of the map again to actually take out the shield. You could just do it from the top of the map. Now that was patched, at least the way to get outside of the map from the actual boss room. So instead, there is this particular method, which involves the rooms, I think 2 rooms before the actual boss room. I think that's where this is, where you have to actually implant the nodes. You'll see that there's these gears spinning on the right side of the room. I think everybody will be able to identify it once they're actually in the room. But you're going to jump out behind that one gear and then follow this pathing. This will eventually lead you to the actual boss room. Once you find this big gray slab, you'll know you're sort of on the right path. Make sure you stay to the right side as you traverse this big open area, because to the left there are some invisible barriers that you can get stuck on. Now, one trick to this is you have to make sure that your teammates don't go any further than that gear room. Once you open the door in the gear room, the next room is the elevator room. So you kill a group of ads and then you go up the elevator. Have them stay in the gear room while you at least traverse most of this, because if they go too far, you'll get the joining allies. You want to make sure that you're near the boss room before you actually have them join you. So timing can be a little bit tricky here, and I would actually suggest, if this is something you want to consider doing, especially says I can't confirm whether or not it still works exactly, though this footage is from recently. This was more to illustrate the actual path for the glitch rather than using it in Grandmaster itself. I was doing this solo at the time. You might want to try just doing it in a normal strike, boot up a Proving Ground strike with your fire team before you actually attempt it in the Grandmaster, because nobody wants to ruin a Grandmaster simply by doing a glitch that's supposed to help you. And just see what the timing is. Test it out, where your teammates have to be, because obviously this is really for 1 or 2 people to do, not all 3 in your fire team. As a solo player, I don't think this will work. It does require a good bit of flying. A Titan could definitely sword fly around this part of the map. Again, we're outside. A Warlock is probably the easiest to do it on. But once you make it to this point, you're then going to jump up onto this big silver slab here. This is actually the rooftop of the boss room. Now, there might be a kill barrier here now. I have seen some reports saying that it still works, that you can actually get underneath the kill barrier so long as your teammates have joined in at this point. So I think the time to join in will be once you're on that first big platform before you actually jump onto the silver top of the roof. Once you're there, have your teammates start to go up the elevator. And then, while they're traversing the elevator, get up onto the top of the silver roof. You can then sort of fall through the roof. You can still get back out if you need to, but you are now over the top of the boss room, and you can actually shoot through the floor. Even though you're standing on something solid, you can actually shoot through it. So this will allow you to stay out of boss damage, focus on the boss, stay away from the ads as well. And previously, this clip is from last season, I was actually able to traverse most of the top of this room, so I didn't have to actually stay put on one particular spot. In fact, it might be easier to actually go to the opposite side before falling through the roof, because you don't actually really need to there, and you can still shoot through the floor. So this would be a place where Skyburners Oath would actually really come in handy if it is something you decide to bring with you. The champions I'm not totally sure about at the time of making this video, so a scout rifle might be completely irrelevant, though you could probably still bring a scout exotic as well as have a good makeup of other stuff to make it a viable combination. But I leave that to you. These are things that you can try. I would suggest try all of them before you actually attempt it in a Grandmaster, but they are there, so hopefully you can make even better use of them than I do in this video. The tank interceptor glitch is the one I think will benefit the most people, so definitely the standout. I can definitely confirm that it still works, and for solo players, I think it is sort of an essential route. Obviously, you can hold out in that room if you want and try to take out the tanks, but you can just instantly one-shot them and get off the interceptor as quick as you can. I think that'll just make it all so much quicker. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. If you've watched till this section of the video, please leave a hashtag #BeyondLight or a hashtag Season of the Lost or a hashtag Witch Queen in the comment section down below. That'll give you an entry into our giveaway at 55,000 subscribers. A second time for this particular video, we're doing a Witch Queen Deluxe Seasonal Pass giveaway. Hopefully we reach 55,000 by the time that actually launches, so nobody misses out on any of the new content. You can also like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. That'll also give you an entry into that giveaway. Every single one of those does. Or you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter for another entry into that giveaway. Remember, the secret hashtags, they stack between all videos, so if you haven't done that on a previous piece of content on this channel, if you're new to the channel that is, you can always go back, leave another hashtag on another video for another entry. And as always, I am Wilhelm Scream. Of course, we will see you next time. Little